What's good? What's good? We are back for another episode of Brothers Vent 2. It's your boy Swift coming to you from Houston, Texas by way of Lake Village, Arkansas. Hopefully T Trash internet working. We're gonna see.
What up? This your boy Crowley coming from the Jack. Missed you all who missed me, and those who didn't miss me. Hey, I still miss y'all too. But yeah, they go.
What's going on, y'all? It's Jay Ward coming to you from Shreveport. It's good to be back. I've been on a little hiatus dealing with a lot of business and traveling and all that good stuff, but it's back. It's good to be back here. I was hoping E wouldn't be on, but he's on, so now I can deal with that. So I'm drinking a little rosé tonight, a little wine, but I am gonna take some shots though.
Kim, don't get muted to come in.
Yeah, stepdaddy is back.
Oh man, damn. They still on there? No.
I never got off of it.
Oh wow. Wow. I'm trying to get my life together right now. It's a lot going on. Bear with me. Bear with me. That's all I can say right now, man. My laptop fucking up.
So E, you moved, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want nobody to know where he moved to. He ain't put it out.
Oh, I ain't saying nothing. Don't too many people know I moved.
Will take Crowley out my damn spot, man.
Hey.
That's number one. Yeah, this your boy T out here in the A. Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, cool. My internet trash.
You can do that the whole time?
I'm letting y'all know beforehand, man. My internet trash tonight, but I'm coming out the A from La.
T Samuel's in the building. So we about to kick this thing off. My boy Jay Ward hadn't been here in a while, so we're gonna start with a topic and slide his way since he is an educator. We got the educators going back to school, they're going back to the classroom. They don't know if they actually going back because the government really hadn't said anything about if we're gonna be in person or going back on lockdown. But all that aside, a post came up and it started a conversation about what school does and does not teach, right? They teach us math, they teach us science, a whole bunch of stuff we don't really use in life, right? Like I've never picked up a recorder after I graduated like third grade. Why did I even know about a recorder? But someone posted that maybe they should start teaching us financial literacy, mental health, time management skills, things that we will actually use in life, right? So I want to get y'all opinion. Should school curriculum start to shift towards financial literacy and those skills we actually can apply to real life, or should it stay where it is currently? Or do certain schools do teach that and public school just left out? What do you think, Jay?
So for one, I'm going into my 10th year. I've been teaching longer than that, but I'm going into my 10th consecutive year in the district I'm in now. And school itself has to change. I was listening to an article today, actually on the news, and it was just talking about a teacher shortage even prior to COVID. And it's like, why would I go to school and major in education, then have to go do like an internship and all the student teaching and all that so I can make less than the garbage man? No disrespect to a garbage man, it's a word they feel. But if you are putting the future of these children in my hands, I should be able to make a working wage, and I shouldn't have to go work at Home Depot when I get off work so that I can make a living wage. But like you said, I think it is time to change just the landscape of what we teach and how we teach it. A good school will put you on a track. I don't know if you guys experienced that, like they put you on a college track or going into the workplace track and all that type of stuff. When I was in ninth grade, they put me on the going to the workforce track. But then I switched my senior year and I wanted to go to college. So now I don't have the qualifications to go to college. So it's like, being in ninth grade, which you're really in eighth grade when you fill out your schedule, you don't know what you want to do in life in eighth grade most of the time. So it's like, we just need to equip people with the things that they need, like financial literacy, everyday skills. Like I haven't heard of anybody going to shop in a long time, but you need to know how to use your hands, man or woman. You need to know how to change tires, and there are a lot of people who can't pump gas, change light bulbs, things like that. Teach us how to live every day, and then I think you should let college kind of be where people kind of determine, or whatever post-secondary school that they're going to go to after they graduate high school. Also, I think the landscape of schools should change that's why a lot of people choose charter schools and private schools. But also, I think the summer break is a waste of time. And I know that's weird being a teacher, me saying that, but I do think that it is a waste of time. It should be shorter.
Why?
It should be shorter because a lot of kids lose the knowledge. They don't retain the stuff that they learn. And so the first month or so when you're back in school, you're trying to make up for what you lost over the summer because you haven't done any studying. Most children, by the time the end of July comes around, they're ready to go back to school. It's like, they're getting on their parents' nerves, like, I'm bored, what we're going to do today, all that type of stuff. A lot of it, I'm more of a proponent of year-round school, but that's not what you think it is. What that really is, you have longer breaks. So it's like you spread the summer break out. So for Christmas, you might get a month off. For Thanksgiving, you might get 2 weeks off. For spring break, you get 2 weeks. So, and then you might get the whole month of July, but you don't need 2.5 months of just nothing, no education at all. And then you could work in the summer on more, like how to swim. You can work that into your curriculum. How to ride a bike if you don't know, different things like that. Cooking class, you can work some of those things because they cut the arts all the time, and the culinary arts and all that. You cut a lot of that stuff. So in the summertime or in your extended time, that can be when you you work on that type of stuff. And if it's fun, a kid would want to do it. We're learning basketball this week, or we're learning how to really take score in bowling and different things like that. So I feel like if you extended the school year, you wouldn't have to cut band and different things like that.
You make a good point, and Kim, right? Lakeside didn't teach us nothing. It was either East Lab or home economics. They was in a baking monkey bread, and that's about all the home ec they got. But these public schools,
how did you make it out? How did you make it out of there then?
Because I'm smart.
Because you're naturally gifted. Because you're naturally gifted. Had you not had your natural gifts, who knows where you would be? You're a musician.
Well, it sounds like the teacher need to be pressing more on the superintendent about the curriculum.
Well, the superintendent was in place.
We really don't have that. We really don't have that type of power. It sounds good to say that, but you really we've been in person since August of last year. Our superintendent was never like, oh, we're gonna watch. Nope, you going to school. Like we the teachers did not have a choice. If we could opt out of anything, we've been in person since last August.
Yeah, in my small country town, we had the same superintendent for like 30 years, same principal for like 20 years. Curriculum is not changing at all. I had friends and family that pushed me, but that's about all the pushing that I got to get from teachers. Well, I take that back. I did have a 3rd and 4th grade teacher and a band director and his wife that pushed me. But other than that, these teachers didn't really care. And it studies on that too. But go ahead. Yeah, I saw you made a face about what Jay Ward said.
I'm not for no year-round school, especially in like the current system that we have. It's really pointless because you leave, you go to these institutions, pay money, and then you don't know how to do shit. You really can spend that time learning, like, you know what I'm saying? You'll do better learning a trade or some shit like that, because 80% of a BS degree is nothing but theory. You don't learn how to actually implement. It's all theory, right? And that's what I call the Bachelor of Science, right? Science is what? It's theory. Theory backed up by tests and shit like that. So like if you go on computer science or you in the tech field or whatever, if you're 80% of the time, you're not going to have a lot of hands-on shit that's going to be in the actual work environment. You ain't gonna know that shit. You don't really get the real work experience until you do what? Pay more money to get a master's degree. That's when you'll actually learn how to actually, you'll have to build like full stack applications by themselves. But what about get to pass? You know what I'm saying?
What about K through 12 though, E?
It's the same thing, right? All right, let me ask you this, right? You learned all that. You went through 12 years of learning science, right? So if they told you this, yeah, you need to know how to read a chart, right? Mm-hmm. Have you ever had to use slope before? Never had to use this shit before, right? But they told you it was important, right? Yeah. When you had to learn chemistry and shit in high school, right? Mm-hmm. You ever had to like count moles for something on the job? No. You ever had to do a titration? No.
A who?
A titration.
I don't even know what the hell that is. Keep going.
That's when you know what I'm saying, you doing the drip and you have like the napkin and shit like that. You're making the actual element.
Hold on, the drip. What kind of drip?
it's like a fucking funnel thing that you kind of like get the water out of, and you know what I'm saying, you mix that shit in like that.
And then in one class we had to like collect bugs and put them on a graph or some shit. It was all like irrelevant as hell.
But I'm saying, like when you really think about it, right? When if you, let's say for instance, the average person that you know that just has a high school education, right? They don't know how to do anything outside of what they've learned in their environment, right? And what happens after you get a degree, right? People go to school to get these biology degrees, right? That's just one instance, right? If you don't go to medical school or you were not working in somebody's lab, you fucked, right? Because you got to either be a teacher or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. Which is also not in your skill set. You know what I'm saying? You have to take the praxis and go through that to be licensed to teach in Mississippi, right? Yeah. So if you go to school and get a biology degree, what can you do after you graduate?
Not much in Jackson.
All you did, Mississippi, period, right? So you really just got in debt for nothing. Just to say that you're qualified to be trained in this subject. Then the job, they don't do no training no more.
So basically, you're a proponent of switching up the curriculum to make it more applicable to what we actually do in real life.
Yeah, it needs to be more hands-on. Degrees should be hands-on.
And K through 12.
Yep.
Okay. So can I jump back in on that? And I agree with what he's saying, but I think that through what we already learned, we need to learn how to apply it to real life. Because I took botany from this guy, a great guy, Coach Naylor. I love him. He's one of my favorite teachers. And we learned what plants were poisonous and what plants were not poisonous. You know, that was one of the things that we learned. We learned about tree leaves and stuff like that. No, I didn't go into like agriculture or anything, but I do own a home. So now I'm looking at these things on the fence and I'm like, is that poisonous? You know, should I touch that? Should I not touch that? Mm-hmm. You know, I know it is something that you can Google, but just to see, I think we need to bridge the gap of theory and book stuff and how this matters in life. And that's something that, we try to teach through the arts as well. Like, no, you're just not learning about, these Italian composers in music just because, I want to show you how this is going to be applied to you in real life and how this affects you in a day-to-day thing. And when those kids make connections between what they learned in science and what they learned in social studies, and they learn it again in ELA, it's like an aha moment for them. And it's exciting to them, and it makes them want to learn it because they see, like, the triangle is important in basketball, just different things like that. So you got to have a great teacher who can kind of see through their eyes, but we're buried under so much. You have to teach. Y'all do know that most teachers teach off a script, right? You have to teach this content on this day. If they come in, you should be on this page of this book. Like, you're basically going to school to learn to read off a script to kids. And I think that's bull myself, but I don't teach.
I got a question. I just got a question for you, Jay Ward. So that's a good point that you brought up. But like, when you think about it like this, right? You go to school. Let's say, for instance, you go to college to get a degree in business, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, you're getting taught by somebody that has never owned a business before, never ran a business before, right? I'm just saying the majority of the time, the majority of the business professors, there's somebody that's never done it before, right? Mm-hmm. And then they're telling you I have all the answers, but you've never run a business before, so you don't really have any hands-on experience necessarily, right? But we overlook the person that we go to more often that knows how to run a business, your barber or your hairstylist, right? These are people who've done it for years, right? Who know about business, who probably have to file taxes in some form or another, unless they're doing it out their house. But they also know about getting clientele, they know about expansion, and they know about supplying, right? Because they got to keep their shit together in order to stay in business. So again, they're basically the question, like, we're still putting in money or whatever, pushing towards this to go to school to learn nothing, to learn theory. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, like, most people come out afraid to even try, because now you get taught to, like, okay, it has to be like this so you don't make mistakes. When really you have to learn, the only way you really learn is by fucking up. You gotta fail.
I'm gonna kind of push back on that, because business professors go when they get doctorates or they have a lot of experience in what they are teaching. For example, in the School of Business at the school that I work at, the finance and accounting professors have spent 20 and 30 years doing accounting work. You have those management and marketing professors that have gone to competitions, done business plans, all of that, got degrees in what they're teaching. So it's applicable not only in the theoretical sense, but in the practical sense as well. They're teaching you, and you have to put forth business plans and market it and go on interviews. This is all built into the curriculum in the School of Business. So
no. What I'm saying is, okay. What was you said your professor owned the business?
Most of them did, yeah.
Okay, but I'm saying, like, how big were they?
I can't answer that question. I don't know.
And I was about to say, in my particular field, most teachers their performers themselves. So and
that's what I'm saying. Like that's right. More practical, right?
Right. But it's just like having a coach that ain't playing nothing. You like, I don't know.
Yeah, like why am I listening to you? Like we still losing like a motherfucker, bro.
But some of the best coaches were trash at playing basketball. But we'll get to that in a second, though. We'll get back on that point. Crow, what you think?
I'm with Jay Ward on a year-round school, but I'm gonna also throw in what I've learned. You have people who learn different. And so I would say when it comes to the year-round schooling, I would say half of the year is dedicated to, pen to paper. That other half is then dedicated to that hands-on part. But I would say also starting off maybe K through maybe 8th grade, yeah, you're learning your general education because you need to learn how to read, write, your basic math and arithmetic, all of that, basic science. So then by the time high school come around, that's when you hit that year-round rotation, whereas you're really trying to figure out where you're going. So if you know how that we had what we called CDC. So let's just say by high school, my CDC students will only be in math classes because yes, they need to know angles and all that if they're working on cars and what size wrench. You're going to have certain class geared towards that. If you're telling me that you're looking into the medical field, whether it's nursing, I'm putting you in the biologies and biology classes and so forth and so on. For myself, I was, looking. So now I'm in the mental health field. So I'm putting you in a general psychology, myself in general psychology. I'm putting myself in English class because we have to write, reading class because we have to read. And that's in high school. And so that's how you create a great pipeline to the different universities, because then you're honing on to what they can truly major in. And then that means also wiping out the universities, wiping out those basic courses too in the beginning, because honestly, they need to just dumb down the ACT, SATs to just making sure that, person can do your reading, your writing, your English, whatever. And then going off that. But also, I will say this too, for me growing up attending Lanier, I can say like a lot of our teachers did care. Like we truly had home ec and we just didn't make, I think somebody said y'all made just bread pudding. No, like we really cooked full course meals and had created cookbooks. And then at Brinkley in my middle school, we had a shop class in middle school that was geared towards, I remember making a table, taking it home from middle school. So
I think we did have a shop class too.
Also, and also let me say this, rest in peace, Robert Bob Moses. I was fortunate enough to be, like on that ground floor level when he first came with the Algebra Project and YPP to Jackson, Mississippi, to Brinkley Middle School, teaching math in a different way, teaching more than math at the same time, teaching us tolerance, educating us on past events that happened. So it all starts honestly with teachers and professors. Honestly, I say every profession needs an assessment and evaluation geared towards whatever your environment is or your career is geared towards. So if Jay Ward is a teacher and on that test, he's not on that assessment evaluation, if he's not scoring high in empathy and other areas, why should he work with kids? Because I don't need anybody in there belittling these kids when we're trying to get them to do great things. You get what I'm saying? So and they already come, a lot of, especially my urban kids. When I was working in prevention for Hines County, I taught mindfulness, especially to the teachers and to the kids. to be, that was something that we would do every morning, would just, have a moment where we just be mindful of what happened, where they're coming from, mindful of what they're about to accomplish during that day. So it's we have to switch the curriculum around. We have to. And we see a lot of countries, like, honestly, a lot of countries put their kids in one career field once they get a certain age, and this is all you're doing for the rest of your life. And so they have something geared for everything that they're working towards in their country. So that's how they're able to build faster than us now.
Mm-hmm. So let me go to the comments real quick. There was a lot of good comments that were put out there. Trina said, I'm a proponent of year-round school as well. Yes, on the K-12 curriculum is based on white supremacists' need to stay in power and influence. People of color learn based on a collective mentality, while light-skinned people learn based on an individualistic mentality. CRT, PhD coming soon. Critical race theory. Trina, let's talk a little bit more. Write me after this. Kim, everything in K through 12 was irrelevant. This is why I love the charter school my sons are enrolled in. They can learn trades while in high school and test for their license during senior year. Okay. I'll read the rest of it. And one more comment I wanted to read. She said, a lot of kids are labeled bad or not wanting to learn because their learning type wasn't being catered to. A lot of them are talented in the arts, and the art class is just making hand turkeys. This is why I cannot stress enough to parents, learn your child's learning type. This could help. And that's true. Our art class was horrible. I think his name was Mr. Gibson. I'm so glad I was in band because the stuff I heard about him, we probably would have fought.
Swift.
Go ahead.
Let me say this too. And Crowley brought up a good point. Like, we call that multiple learning pathways or learning modalities. So you might be a kinesthetic learner, which is more of a hands-on. You might be an auditory learner or visual. But most teachers teach how they learn. So if I'm an auditory learner, I'm going to talk at you all day long. But if I got 16 students that learn that way, but then I got 8 more that don't, and then 4 more who just, I don't know how they learn. It's like I'm going to cater to most of my people. So
but that should be I don't mean to cut you off, Jay, but honestly, those are the type of things that should be identified maybe K through 3rd or 4th grade or K through 5th. Like, that's something that needs to be implemented within the curriculum, on the teachers to identify how their students are learning and documenting what fits best for them. So like I say, as they rotating, you will be able to see where they're scoring high. And so by the time they hit maybe that 6th through 8th grade, they're in certain areas that way that they're scoring high, they're learning at a high level, at an efficient level, where they're not being left behind, and that they're able to graduate and go to the next level.
Right. And I think a lot of teachers, I'm gonna say this, 95% of teachers would love to do that. But then they got to teach so you can pass this test, because my job is connected to you passing the test.
But so that's why I say we got to change that part of the
curriculum. I know we definitely do, and we got to change how teachers get evaluated. Right. All of that. Like, I hear you, but if I'm a teacher and I got 30, I'm in an overpopulated class and I got 30 kids. Okay, I'm expected to be the everything for 30 different children, which is possible, but I also got to deal with going to my part-time job when I leave here, and that's because I don't make a living wage. Also, like, we had a training, and they talked about all the different things that they expect teachers to teach, like driver's ed and things like that. But they have not added an hour to the school day since like the 60s. So you expect all this stuff to be taught before 3 o'clock, or some schools to 4 o'clock. So it's just like, you want me to do all this within 5 or 6 hours. Okay. And then another thing that I was going to hit on about, and this is my last time, I talk about this all day because of course I am in education. A lot of crime goes up in the summer when kids are out of school. A lot of kids are hungry in the summer because their only meals come from the school. That's true. I know they have summer feeding and different things like that, but it's like, a lot of people can't afford to send their kids to summer camp. And then the school districts a lot of times can't pay teachers to come and volunteer their time or come and give their time. So it's just like that kid is just in limbo. Like, they got to get it how they live. So it's just like you in a lose-lose situation a lot of the time. And then you got to realize that teachers have families and they're human and they have children. So it's like, I got to do what I got to do to, provide for my own children. I had to realize a long time ago that I can't save every kid. I wish I could, but it's just like, I don't have enough time in the day.
But I'll say this much, and coming up out of one of my policy class, it starts with policy. We gotta, you honestly, for our retired teachers, we gotta put them in somebody's office. That way policies can be amended and changed, because now you have an educator up there fighting for you who used to be on the front line.
Absolutely.
You know, so those are the, you all have to find within the teacher unions, identify those individuals who are about to retire, who may have that ran within a political world, and vote those individuals in. I think honestly, each industry should do that. We let big tobacco lobby, we let everybody else lobby, but they come around for us just to back them and get our money, and we're really not putting in who we need to put in to truly change these policies. We can sit here and say the curriculum, those in the community can say the curriculum, but until we truly get legislative leaders in who will adem or rewrite policies for education, for different curriculums to be put in, or either, for me, I'm gonna be honest, I think there should be different curriculums chosen based on environments.
Trojan?
Huh?
You said Trojan.
I said chosen.
Say crow and that's
because honestly, Southerners kind of learn a little different, Northerners, and if we be honest about it, it's just kind of innate within us. So I think certain things need to just be adapted and changed.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Kim said teachers deserve 6 figures. I'm gonna disagree, because some teachers are absolutely trash. They don't deserve.
That goes to that assessment and that evaluation, like real.
So I'm gonna disagree on that one. I had another point too, but I'm gonna keep it pushing. But I absolutely agree with Jay Ward saying that when summer in and these kids have nothing to eat, their parents had to go to work and they at home and they 5, 6, 7 years old, they out here in these streets. You already know what's going on. You see it. They listen to the young boy and everybody else now too. So yeah. Final points in on this one, anybody?
Man, why you be hating on young boy, man?
I like young boy, but we know music really influences these children to do something.
Hey, let's also remember this. I know we just harped on some of the teenagers who choose not to do, positive things during the summer. We have a lot of kids who are doing great things during the summer, So let's also congratulate.
Shit, we getting a job. I'm trying to get that paper.
Hold on. So the teachers that taught you don't deserve to make bank? Hell no. Maybe 1 or 2 or 3 at the most.
Somebody did a good job though, Swift, because look where you are. Somebody did
a good job. My mom and my dad did a good job.
Honestly, all teachers need to start off with a baseline between 45 and 50K in every state.
That's not even a livable wage.
I can agree with Texas. I would say between 50 and 70.
I just say 50, just depending on where you're at. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of like a baseline. Should no school district try to offer anybody none less than 50 where you at? I know in California,
I could become a manager at Sprint and make more than a teacher makes, and that shouldn't be.
I'm with you.
Hey, hey, don't sleep on customer service, bro. That's a hard ass job.
You got yeah. Hey, put it this way. They dealing with the badass kids of the customers.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, working in Walgreens, bro, when you gotta explain to somebody like why their insurance ain't paying and they sick, them folks will chew you out, they'll try to fight you. Bro, you gotta have some composure, man.
And speaking of composure and health, mental health, that's something else we touched on tonight, but it became a very hot topic when Simone Biles, and we got some differing opinions on this one. We're gonna see how it goes. But when Simone Biles took a stand and said she is not participating in team sport Olympics, I don't know the official name for it, but because she would want to take care of her mental health, she did it for her. And she received a lot of praise. She received a lot of pushback as well. But it opened up the conversation to mental health and athletes, taking on all that pressure and people and athletes doing what's best for them. Should it be an issue? Should it not be an issue? Going to take it this way. So I'm going to start with Crow. How do you feel about Simone Biles and her taking a break out the Olympics for her health, her mental health?
Listen here, how I feel about anybody taking a break. Everybody is allowed to take a break. from whatever their profession is. Everybody receives burnout in a different way. Everybody is built different. We got to remember that. Nobody is the same in this world. What pain you can take, the next person can't take it. And you can't be judgmental of that. We create stigma around anytime anybody feels some way or decides to step away from something. We got to fall back. We all go through something in this world, in this lifetime. You show me one person that hasn't gone through anything. I'm like, seriously. And so how everybody deals with whatever they deal with, they are allowed to deal with it. We as society judge, people. Mm-hmm. I'll just say how Sha'Carri, she dealt with the loss of her mom. She said about doing that. Others dealt with it by punching holes in the wall or disowning family. Are doing family getting into arguments and funerals, but your stuff wasn't put on blast like these individuals. You didn't have to go sit before a newsstand and say, hey, the reason I ain't come to work today because I had a headache. And
God.
No, you like, I'm being so honest. Like, if we had a mic in front of our face and a camera in front of our face for every goddamn thing and had to explain why we felt that way, we would get tired of it. We would get tired of people judging us. We already got our bosses and whoever our bosses report to. We have to perform for them. So imagine us, our stuff being put on blast on news. Hey, for IT, how many computers did you fix today? No, you're lacking in your computer skills, man. Listen here, they called me over here and I got an extra email. I wasn't expecting it. That's an excuse, E. Listen here. You taking off because you got to move, E? No, we don't want to hear you got to move. We don't want to hear you tired and you got a lot going on. No, we need you to perform. We need you to perform for the people that's watching you right now. Like, seriously, that's how society is. That goes for our law enforcement officers. That goes for our doctors. That goes for everybody. Just needs to fall the fuck back. People are human. Shit is going on in this world that no one has true control over. Like, seriously, personally, just within themselves, spiritually, mentally. So I don't care who you are, male or female, you can take something that the next man or woman can't take. But hey, if they can't take it, let them deal with it. And if you ain't got positive shit or uplifting shit or true coping skills that help to get this individual to a great level to where they can go back to functioning on the level that they feel comfortable with, shut the fuck up and fall back. And I mean that shit.
Ooh. Don't need to play the anthem. The other side of Crow came out then. God, dog.
No, because I'm pro-people. I'm pro-people. Mm-hmm. People are always judgmental about what the fuck somebody else is doing in life or saying in life. Let them answer and do what the fuck they got. They got to look at themselves every day in the mirror. They got to love on themselves every day in the mirror. Like, seriously, when they come home to wherever they apartment, wherever they go to home, whatever they call their quarters, they are stuck with themselves. So at the end of the day, fuck what people are thinking. Do you make sure you and yours are good before you worried about what the others are saying? And what they saying, trust me, as the old saying go, you need to sweep around your own and sweep in your own before you start calling somebody else. Because promise you, if somebody flip back or start peeling back your shit, you might be embarrassed or be ashamed. But in all honesty, we all testimonies for all of us to grow and learn from every situation. But we're not looking at that bigger picture.
Whew. Jay Ward, what you got?
Crowley got a gun. I hate that I can't see all of the comments. I'm on a Facebook hiatus, so I can't really see them all. But I can see some of them. I agree with just about everything that Crowley said, and I really think that sports in itself is changing, and it has needed to change for a long time, especially like football. Football is a sport surrounded around hazing and bullying. That's why you have, you finally, I think, have one active NFL player who's come out of the closet because of the bullying that goes on with football. And it's just like a culture of cheap shots and bullying and tough it out. You should be able, that's something I heard a lot of people say, well, whatever she got going on, she should just stick it out and, go through it and win it for the country. Bro, Olympians are some of the brokest athletes in the world. Like, it's only the top 1-2% of them that, is good. The rest of them like have to do all this other odd and end stuff just to make ends meet. It's the same thing with a teacher. So it's like, I'm going over here really just for pride and bragging rights. It's not like I'm gonna be set for life because I'm an Olympian. So, she being a gymnast, doing all these aerials that she does could risk her life. So if she can't go up there and do it, then fuck it, don't go up there and do it. Like, you don't owe anybody else anything. She's won everything that she can win. And, that's something that I was talking to, with my daughter who's a gymnast. And, it's just like, she's done she's accomplished all she can accomplish. But I'm like, unfortunately, people judge people based off of championships and how can you do it on the biggest stage. I was like, you wouldn't, the way, and I hate to bring him up, is not a fan, I'm just being honest. I hate that people judge LeBron based off of his next championship. No, seriously, based off of his next championship and not off what he's done. People do the same thing with Kevin Durant, Westbrook, all these athletes. It's just like, bro, these people have done supernatural things and you can't even do anything. Like Crow said, on points, it's like you can't even do your job. And it's like you want to come at these people, but mental health is super important. A couple of things that have worked against her, though. She's Black. Of course, we know that. That's working against her. She's also 10 times better than any other gymnast in the world. And the skills that she can do, nobody else can do. So when she starts in gymnastics, your points start off at the highest it can be, and they deduct based off of how well you do the particular skill. Her scale is higher than everyone else's. So now they're trying to find a way to lower the scale so that the playing field can be even, which is unfair. And I think all of that stuff got in her head in midair, and it caused her to have a bad fault. And that's what she started thinking about, because they're trying to change the rules. Also, this is a COVID year. Gymnasts, just like other athletes, feed off of fans and all that. There are no fans. I know all the other athletes are dealing with it, but if she can't deal with it, then that's fine. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I want to say real quick is that it's just poor timing, because you have the thing with Sha'Carri. Naomi Osaka took time off for mental health and she lost in the Olympics. It's just like the women's soccer team, we lost the game for the first time in years. So it's just like, but they're fighting for equal pay. So it's just like a lot of people, not me, would say, hey, if you stop focusing on your political shit, maybe you would win, and it's just like you could have both. So it's just poor timing for it all. But I mean, I applaud her. I really applaud all of the other athletes coming to her defense as well, because it's just like, bro, man, these people are to be an athlete is a short window. You don't have a long time to do it. And so people who have won and they've won championships, they know what it takes to get there, and they know how hard it is to get back to that. So I applaud her. And if she never performs on the gym floor again, she's done all she has to do, and she's a great athlete.
And Jay Ward, let me touch on this too. You got to also give those who kind of came before them, who were showing that mental health needed to be touched on and not been stigmatized or judged in the, I'll say, the athletic world. Those like Brandon Marshall, who was kind of having those run-ins before he actually, sought professional help. You had a few more before that. So now that athletes are not acting out, and then, the media loves that they act out first, and then like to say, oh, now they did the right thing. But now athletes are taking accountability for their own mental health and saying, hey, before I break down, before I lose a part of me, before I act out and give you a chance to report something on me, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to own my own self and say, hey, I'm stepping away out of the limelight and taking control out of my life. And I think the media is getting mad at that, because now they can't create a true story around anything. These athletes are saying, hey, I'm doing this for me, versus trying to put on for the lights, camera, and action, and the fans, which are us in the stands. Yes, we pay our money and everything, but we it's like going to the circus and we expect that tiger to jump through that hoop every day. That tiger at one of them shows not gonna jump through that fucking hoop that day, and they're gonna be like, oh, Simba don't feel like jumping today. We're gonna move on to the next thing. It's like that. You ain't gonna ridicule that tiger, because that tiger might turn you into dinner. You get what I'm saying?
Bro, it is a huge spectacle. And with gymnasts, this happens when they're like 11 or 12 because, you know, you're expected, if you're going to compete in the Olympics, you might be 16, 17 years old. Like, think about where we were at 16, 17 years old. Also, gymnasts are expected to, a lot of times, let's just say you're in Bolton, you know, no shade on Bolton, even in Jackson, and you're the best gymnast in Jackson. They want you to move to Florida, leave your family at 12 or 13, go live at a camp, go to school at the gym and practice all day at 12 and 13 years old.
Hold on now, Jay. Hold on. We just talked about curriculum change now.
I ain't get my.
Hold on, I'm gonna let you go.
So you gotta think about that. Now you can't want the best and then at the same time say they overdoing it. You gotta understand that that's part of that curriculum change in a way. So that's how you get that greatness. More so, we need them to understand why you're drilling them to do this. You need to allow them to have some type of coping or venting skills or offering a way to get away from that moment and not put so much. We want you to win gold, but shit, silver and bronze is okay too for us. You know, we gotta start. You know, Ricky Bobby used to be like, "Hey, if you ain't first, you last." But then towards the end of the movie, he was like, "Hey, shit, listen here. As long as I'm racing and competing, I understand that. Hey, second is okay too."
So I'm gonna let E go, and then I'm gonna switch it up and ask all y'all a quick question. But go ahead, E.
I'm just like at the point where I'm like over all this social media shit, bro.
Same.
Like, I think everybody needs to develop a personal type of fuck it. Like, stop letting social media like drive the narrative of society. Because the first thing, the same shit that happened with KD. Matter of fact, I even give you a better one. Even Coach Prime had said like he was at the height of his career and he tried to kill himself because he wasn't taking care of his mental. You know what I'm saying? This is like somebody like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody know who Prime was if they watch football. That man was in the World Series and in the Super Bowl, same goddamn year. Couldn't go wrong. You know what I'm saying? Everybody thought he was living it up high. He was flashing, flexing on niggas, all type shit. He had the women, the cars, the money, all of that. That nigga still wasn't happy. So, like, when it comes to these athletes, like, you got, you know, like what Carla said, you got to remember they people too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I disagree with that narrative that, like, oh, yeah, they signed up for this. I disagree with that bullshit. If I that's why I could never be famous. I'd be the slap one of y'all motherfuckers talking that bullshit to me. I would have been arrested, had lawsuits, all types of shit for physical altercation, all types of shit. Like, I see why I don't think Chris Brown crazy. I think Chris Brown just a real ass nigga. Just he about his business. Like, regardless, I don't agree with the shit he did with Rihanna or whatever, but that's older. You know what I'm saying? But like all his altercations he didn't got into it or whatever, motherfuckers just do too much. You know what I'm saying? Whether you famous or you're an athlete, people just do too fucking much. Just like with Russell Westbrook, like the fan ran on the court and like bumped into him or some shit like that. Then they got mad at him, talking about like, oh, he should have handled that better. Like, what? This man got a whole family at home. You don't know this man that snuck a gun up into these events. You know they don't check no white folks because shit, they shoot up every goddamn public event. So shit, you never know what the fuck gonna happen. So it's like, at what point do athletes or public figures get to say, man, enough is enough, and not get scrutinized for it? You know what I'm saying? Because there's imagine if KD would have just set his ass down, that game was it game 5, instead of trying to play through that calf injury, right? He would have never tore his Achilles unless it was already ripped him. Anyway.
And then they ripped him. Like, he shouldn't have been in there, but if he didn't play,
exactly, like right. So the media want to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna wait till something bad happens, then be like, oh,
I just said
this, we would have understood.
But that's what's pissing the media off.
They ignore it.
That's what's pissing them off. The athletes now are taking accountability before they do anything to self-harm or hurt others or get others involved in foolishness, and they have nothing to that's taking away that anger.
Get them out.
I see it.
Get them out of here. Zahir Abaz, Ab-ass, whatever your name is. Let
me switch it up a little bit because I asked it earlier. I'm gonna ask it right now on this.
We made it. We got bots.
Right.
Ab ass.
So, of course, you don't have all athletes being able to deal with that pressure that comes with being an athlete. But does the narrative change if you bring that pressure on yourself?
Let me say this.
Hold on. Let me finish my question. Simone Biles put on a leotard with a goat on it, saying that she is the goat of her sport, of the Olympics, of whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Crow, you gave the example that if people doing their jobs get a media conversation every day, they'll be like, fuck this shit. But what if E came out and said, I'm the best computer coder in the world? Is he not bringing that pressure on himself? Did Simone Biles not bring that pressure on herself, saying that she's the GOAT, and then she's being called to perform and the lights just got too bright for her? Go ahead.
Let me ask you. Wait.
Let Crow go. Hold it.
Did she proclaim herself the GOAT, or there was people in the media saying she was the GOAT and then she acknowledged it?
Go ahead, Crow.
Just curious.
She had the GOAT on. She called herself the GOAT. Go ahead, Crow.
Listen here. She went out there and showed you that she can do something that no other person could do
in the world.
That right there within itself, she could sew goats. She could have sold her a whole Billy Goat suit and put it on. Because guess what? No other person in the world can do what she just did. Like you all just said, they have to now try to figure out how to stop her from being great, the greatest of all time, because she's going off the charts. The chart that they created, they trying to figure out another chart. They ain't even, come on now. That's changing the rules. And you mad because she decided to put a goat? The girl can tattoo a goat on her forehead for all I get beat. And she the goat. Because she went out there and proved why she was even before she did that. Now I understand if we first heard about Simone Biles coming in and now you see that goat, she said she's going to be the greatest of all times. And now then she go out there and flip and we like, she all right. Then you can say, man, you see putting that goat, that's pressure. But she got every right to throw that goat right there.
So let me clarify, because it's been asked. The issue isn't that she's not the GOAT. I don't think it's disputable that she is or is not the GOAT. She's the GOAT.
Yes.
But does she still have to perform, or can she take those?
I'm sorry. She can take a break. Now, anytime she steps out there to compete, everybody's going to expect greatness. Even when Jordan got later in his years, everybody still wanted Jordan to be 20-some-year-old Jordan out there on the floor. You know, LeBron, they still respect LeBron to be 18-year-old LeBron. You know, Brady, they still expect Brady to be Brady. You get what I'm saying? So whenever you come in and you're setting a standard for yourself as an athlete or entertainer, people are always going to now look at that standard that you have now set. If you're a rapper and you done drop 17 hot albums, then that 18, 19 would be trash. Oh, man, he falling off. You done forgot about the great 17 he done gave you. Oh, he ain't the GOAT no more. He ain't no GOAT. And that goes back to that pressure of everybody wanting everybody to be perfect, producing all the way across the board, no matter what. So when it comes to mental health and athletes, man, I'm bigging up every athlete who's recognizing, because also before they became those athletes, you forgot that they were kids who went through things, or teenagers who went through certain stuff and it stuck with them, or college, they went through certain things and it stuck with them. Or either they weren't equipped for the world, as we're learning when we said this in the beginning, for the curriculum. So all of a sudden you dropping 10 million in their lap and they have no financial literacy, but then they got the homies from the hood with them, or either not the homies from the hood, let's just say they got the family with them. And they trying to, so this is deeper, this mental health thing. We're looking at athletes on the back end saying, oh yeah, man, they acting out, but we didn't ask what happened before they really became athletes, or what happens when they take the helmet off or stop dribbling that ball.
Crow, I'm laughing at you because he. Go ahead, Jay.
My bad, Crow.
Go ahead, Jay.
You was on point, but I couldn't get over how you say athlete.
Hey, I'm from around the way, baby. Athlete.
What about to say, Jay?
Oh man, I agree with Crow. But I don't think so I'm an entertainer, right? And the pressure, like when you do a play and it's a run, you have to do the same performance every day, like back to back to back to back. I have a show coming up in October. I wasn't going to do it, but I am going to do it. And it's pressure every night to live up and be better than you were than last time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like I think about the Sonic Boom of the South, the greatest band in the land.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been weird about this. Just sitting in the stands watching them as an entertainer myself, like everybody in the stands are ready to critique if your hat came off. You took one wrong step to the left. Yeah. Like everybody's waiting to watch. It's the same thing with step shows. That's why I went on the step team. I was on the skit team, not the step team, because I'm like, I ain't about to get up there and make a wrong step and everybody be trashing me. Like, I can't do bus stop right now. My knee's too bad. I'm trying to get homecoming ready so I can do it, but right. I ain't going down there in the horseshoe to do bus stop. I can't do it.
Oh, you crazy? Come on, we push you out. Whatever, you coming out.
So it's like, you know.
Well, see, you expected to perform when you come.
Absolutely. Everybody expected to perform when they come, Crow. When you let's just say you make a
hey, we need to put that on the shirt. You are expected
to perform. Got quite a few performances lined up, don't we?
When you let's just say you make one classic album and you never make another one.
Might not be worth the performance though.
You have to be able to recognize and appreciate that I did make one classic album. You know how hard it is to like consistently make great works, and then you know how good it is to consistently be the greatest athlete. I was just watching the Olympics before we got on, and the woman who won the 400-meter hurdles, she won it at I think 53 seconds or something like that, 53.4 or something like that. When she won the last Olympics, they said that wouldn't even medal this year at these Olympics. So it's just like people are consistently getting better. And we have to acknowledge greatness and just appreciate it for what it is, man. So I applaud Simone, like I said. But you do put a target on your back. Like LeBron said, he's the greatest player in the world. People are going to gun for you. Like everybody's going to get up. Like I hate to get a Twins a shout out, but when we played South Panola, we wanted to beat South Panola because we knew that this is South Panola. We want to beat South Panola because we know that this is the team. We want to beat them. So we're going to give you everything. This is our Super Bowl. So we're going to give you everything I got. So if you proclaiming to be that guy, I'm coming into the league, want to take you out because you say you that dude. I want to see if you can back up.
And I'm almost certain that every SWAC school has Jackson State circle.
Oh, we are a target. Absolutely. Everywhere I go,
hey, look, after Young Sanders said what he said, it's definitely when I say that's
tape back that up. He has
that's tape material. Head coaches, defensive line, offensive line coach, they playing every opposite school coach, whatever they coach, whatever position they coaching, they playing it.
I wouldn't be surprised if they got a kill order on them. Like if you knock him out the game, you get an incentive.
You get some money, you get some scholarship, you getting something. Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if other schools playing it to students who coming in. Like, you see what Jackson say? They say they're gonna do. We need you in the stands. We need you in the stands.
Right. That is good market. E, what you about to say
though? Man, like I don't think like. I had mentioned something like I was like Muhammad Ali is considered to be the GOAT of boxing, but he's taken a loss before. He didn't got his ass whooped before. He didn't lost fights before, right? Mm-hmm. But he didn't came back and whooped niggas' ass, like straight up, like you know what I'm saying. But he's still considered a GOAT. Mike Tyson said it. Sugar Ray Leonard said it. Who else was on stage with it? It was him. It was Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray, and somebody else. That was on the stage. They was on I want to say they was on the Arsenio Hall show from back in the day. They told Muhammad Ali that he was go like straight up. So this is like when Mike is at the peak of his career, like you know what I'm saying, late 80s, early 90s. So if this is a loss for Simone, right? Why can't she still be? Because this would be her first L that she would technically be taking on the highest stage, right? but still given the work that she's put in and like the standards that are slanted against her, how is it not? You know what I'm saying? Like, how is it not? How's that not GOAT type shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of her putting on her leotard or whatever, right? Like, okay, she's just taking a gimmick and running with it, right? But you holding this one slip up, this one incident to where it's something serious, because next thing you know what I'm saying, you flipping 15, 20 feet in the air and you fall and break your fucking neck. And now you paralyzed and they're like, oh, it was such a tragedy, yada, 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 yada. Well, guess what? Well, who gonna pay the medical bills? Not the Olympics.
Right.
Who gonna help take care of her every day if she get paralyzed or some shit like that? Her folks, maybe, but guess what?
But hold on. But once again, I don't think no one is disputing she's the GOAT. Nobody. But you do, like Jay Ward said, put a target on your back when you make these proclamations that you are the GOAT, or you.
But it goes back to what I asked you. I said, who said it first, though, right? The media proclaimed her that first.
Yeah, because she put it on her stuff.
Have they? And then she went and put it on there. That's all I'm saying.
Swift, can I say this too?
Bro,
yeah, Swift, you still
not paying attention. Swift,
right.
The question.
No, I get what you're saying. The thing.
If somebody takes a gimmick and runs with it that somebody else already said, what's the problem? I don't understand it. I don't understand your point.
Okay, let's go ahead, Jay.
Let me say this too. You can choose to be humble, but that bravado and that controversy sells. Nobody knew who Richard Sherman was until he went off talking about Crabtree. That's what got him paid.
Cap.
Like,
Cap.
No. Listen to me. Swift, listen to me. Tim Duncan.
What?
Tim Duncan had one of the greatest careers ever, but he was quiet. So he did not have nearly the endorsements of KG, who he's way better than.
Did he want it?
Everybody want the money. And it's like,
okay,
listen to me. Listen to me real quick. Darius Slay is a great defensive back. But he's not talkative. He's not loud. Like, receivers and defensive backs know that the louder you are, the more money you get. You can think about Conor McGregor. Like, he loses a lot of fights. Who?
Pat Peterson don't talk a lot of shit like that.
Who?
Pat Peterson.
How many endorsements he got?
A lot. Pat Peterson was one of the highest paid players in the league.
Compared to some of the other cornerbacks, it's like,
hold on, make your point, Jay, because you know.
A lot of hoopers, a lot of people like Bradley Beal don't have a lot of endorsements, and he's one of the best players in the world. Devin Booker, a lot of people didn't even know who he was until these playoffs. Dirk, all these people. So it's like you have to choose to, if you're looking like, oh, I'm a fan of the sport, I know who Devin Booker was, but you have people who don't even know anything about basketball, but still know who Steph Curry is because you see him on the Subway commercial. You see him on all these other commercials. So you have to have some sort of gimmick in order to bring attention to yourself, in order to get these endorsements. Conor McGregor is still the biggest draw. Conor McGregor is the biggest draw in UFC, even though he cannot win a fight anymore. So you have to choose.
What are you talking about, bro?
Let me go back to the mental health real fast, Jay Ward. Let me go back.
He just beat Cowboy before he lost to Dustin. What are you talking about?
All right. Let me go back to the mental health when it comes to athletes real fast.
Yeah.
All right. So we got to also remember this with our high school kids. A lot of coaches tell them to use their environment and what they're going through as motivation. Nobody wants to hear about that, this, that, and other. So we got to also get coaches to change their mind frame when they're coaching our youth, because they're teaching them to use that as fuel for fire, and the world doesn't care about that. Use that out there on the field. Use that as motivation to get you to the next level. In all honesty, we need them to work through it, because then when they don't get a chance to talk about it or work through it, then that's when, once they make it to that higher level and all those lights flashing in their faces and the camera in their faces and everybody is asking for autographs and they're feeling all that pressure, but they're not used to feeling those emotions that come along with it or understanding what's come along with it, then they blow up and show out. So that's another thing too. We got to get these coaches that's in these youth leagues to change the way that they are coaching, the coaching style, because you can't tell them to mute what they're feeling or mute what they're going through, and then wonder why then they want to run along and when they're making all this money and going through what they're going through and be like, yeah, they had a rough environment. I was trying to be their dad. No, all y'all can't pretend to be their dad. They need professional help or need somebody to talk to along the way.
I got you. Absolutely, I agree. We're gonna wrap this one up though. We've been on this one out a long time. Do I have any quick final comments? We want to talk about one quick topic before we wrap up.
Quiet superstars don't make money. You gotta be a heel. You nobody knew who Bobby Lashley was until he became a heel in wrestling. Like you gotta own something.
So Jay Ward, what's gonna be your stunt?
You gotta be marketable somehow.
Look, Jay Ward, what's gonna be your stunt to get out there and on the big screen?
Sex tape. No, I'm playing.
You're not playing.
Good art.
Whatever.
Good art.
Man, Jay Ward
Tyler Perry has
on the fucking shade room kind of.
So that's how he got where he is because of his gimmick. I respect him.
Jay Ward is going to make the shade room for coercing women at his job. What was that? And then he gonna make a movie script off of that shit to prove his innocence.
Hold on, but what we say gonna put on a shirt for homecoming? You always gotta perform. But last topic, real quick. I ain't gonna be too long on this one. So a brother ended up getting into a shootout with the police officers north of Dallas, I think, because the police were called on him for reckless driving by, I'm guessing, his neighbors. So they came up. There was a brief verbal altercation, and the police officers pulled out their gun and shot at him first, and they shot his wife. I just read that a few moments ago. Shot his wife, and he shot back and shot the police officers. But he is being charged with second-degree attempted murder, I think. I have to go back and look at it. My brothers, as a black man in today's society, should you be able to protect your home from anyone who steps foot on your property? Anyone, including
wrong, man.
Police officers, everybody.
It's two bad parts in this story, right?
Okay.
One was his demeanor, his attitude. The second was that white woman.
How was his demeanor and his attitude?
Because when the first cop pulled up, he came out already with the smoke. I'm the wrong nigga to fuck with. He had flashed his pistol and everything. I'm like, bro, like you already setting yourself up for failure. You didn't have to show the strap. You know what I'm saying? And then the white woman pulled up. She automatically escalated, tried to pull up like she run some shit. And he was like, bro, like I'm already like the black. I don't know if he was black or white, but the first cop was already trying to diffuse the situation. Like, hey, bro, I just want to talk. Nothing's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? The other one going, get on the ground. Like, yada. She didn't pull her strap out. So naturally, he said, bro, get this bitch off my property. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Then he just like that kind of escalated up from there. Like his wife trying to calm him down, but like shit. She wasn't doing too good of a job for that, but like it might have been her best interest to kind of like do that because if he would have turned around and got on her ass, then the cops would have had, you know what I'm saying, more of a cause to come shoot him or come get on his ass. So it was just a bad situation. Like nonetheless, it's gonna be looked at as a justified shooting, and it's gonna look like attempted murder, especially if he ain't shoot them above, if he shot anybody above the waist.
So let me clarify on that one. He was shot 7 times. And he was charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault on a police officer.
Yeah, that sounds about right. What's going to happen, especially if it's not in the stand your ground state.
But it was Texas. I think it was Texas, so it should be stand your ground. But the point is, do you believe or do you think that we should be able to protect our home? Because they came on his property, charging him up, asking him questions. And he just said, get off my property. And then it escalated from there. You think that the police are right in shooting him 7 times? If
they got a legit call to come see about this person, like how they get his address, like you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of factors, right?
Right.
Like to me, I think it was kind of weird how they got his address that fast. Like you know what I'm saying? If you supposedly recklessly driving, and then he said he just pulled up at the crib. So I'm like, okay, were they following you? Like you know what I'm saying? Like what was going on? And if they was following you, why he ain't throwing his lights? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or like, why wasn't any light? It wasn't no light reflection in the video. Right. So that lets me know that they probably been, you know what I'm saying? They already had his address.
So another post I saw was that his neighbors, he lives in a predominantly white neighborhood, and his neighbors called the police on him, which could go into another conversation about how you have those individuals that may try to weaponize the police on individuals they believe shouldn't be in their neighborhoods. But that take us down another rabbit hole. Crow, what you think?
I'm like E. I had a chance to see what they allowed us to see.
Facts.
Mm-hmm. So in the beginning, I'm with E. He did step out in a angry, aggressive manner, in which we all are allowed. There's no law with anybody, a law against being angry or even aggressive in a way, as long as you don't become violent. You know, so anger and some forms of aggression are allowed, but also at the same time, we need to know, and like he said, he kind of touched on definitely who made the call or why was the call out? How did the police end up behind him? You know, all that stuff kind of plays into that factor. But then with me, and I tell you guys all the time, I train in de-escalation. And when that officer, the first officer he encountered, saw his aggression and the anger he was having, I can give that officer this. His tone did change. He started, like he said, he started saying, "Hey, sir, well, I got called, this, that, and the other." And the gentleman was still saying, "Hey, wrong motherfucker." But then the gentleman, when he met him with calmness, and the gentleman started kind of calming a little bit, honestly. But then when the escalating Betty, escalating Karen, escalating Jane, Susie, whoever she was, came on scene, in which that's when officers should check other officers. He should have paused with the civilian and said, "Hey, man, I got him right now.
Right.
Just back me up. If he come charging at me, if he pull his weapon, just back me up. But right now, let me have this moment and converse with him."
Right.
So that's how that should have went. But she kept escalating, which then he was like I said this. It was already a fire lit. You know, we love to say fire lit. It was already smoke coming from it. And basically, she came and she threw barrels of gasoline without even checking with her partner. Anytime from me, like I say, training them, they're supposed to know what's going on before the scene, unless it's just an all-out shootout and then they're engaging. But they supposed to, hey,
what's the situation?
I'm on the scene. What's the situation? That way they can have a full understanding to know where to engage or how to assess and go from there.
Right.
She came on swinging her cojones, and that's how the situation. Honestly, he probably should have maybe ended up in handcuffs that night, or either going back in his house that night. Honestly, one of those two.
Yeah.
And waking up in the morning, but if they do find any type of substance, if his blood alcohol level is above anything, if he have any type of substance in him that's in his body without whatever a doctor has prescribed to him,
it's over.
He getting a big L. It's over. I don't care I don't care what property we say we own. When they come, you gotta listen.
Even if they shot first.
Now, if they now this gonna be the thing too. You forgot all the video footage in the world. You're gonna have to have their body cameras along with their video footage, along with hopefully finding shell casings and all of that to prove that they shot first versus him shooting first.
Well, I got you. So probably take a different direction. Ask you this:
qualified immunity gonna beat that.
Yeah, but how would you have handled that situation?
Me on the scene, you
being the homeowner.
Oh, me being a homeowner?
Yeah.
First, especially if I'm walking out of my house and you just showed up, I am gonna ask, officer, may I ask why you're in my home?
Mm-hmm.
And if he responds back, I got a call about you driving. Well, sir, either I've been at my home for a certain amount of periods, so sir, it couldn't have been me. If he asked me to step down and talk to him, well, sir, can you call your supervisor on the scene? Because you are allowed to ask for their supervisors to come on the scene. If he does step to your property because you're so close to the door, guess what you have the right to do? Go back inside.
Go back in your house.
Thank you.
You go back in your house. They don't have proper search on the inside of your house.
Yes, that's why I'm about to say. That's why I think super episodes ago I said you need to learn the laws of your city and of your state as civilians for your home and away from your home. Because honestly, if you don't know, they're gonna use it against you each time.
We might need to host a workshop.
You know, I would say this. I tell my homies all the time, I'm nobody's lawyer, but I know the around the way laws to enough to whereas you're not gonna violate my rights,
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna let you put yourself in a predicament to harm me.
Right. Okay. Jay Wood, did you see the video?
I did not watch the video. I try to stay away from that type of stuff because it's traumatic, and I think that it is damaging to mental health. So I don't watch that type of stuff. Gotcha. But I do know that I was in that situation. Like I've said before, I've had police knock on my door in the middle of the night, and then I open the door and see that it's 8 to 10 units outside my door. Mm-hmm. And then, if you know me, I'm no small man. So a lot of times, it's automatically going to be
the big aggression
because I'm not small. They're going to swell on up as soon as they see you.
So,
and you black.
Right. So,
and you're
it's just that. Again, it's another lose-lose situation. Like I said, I would have just stayed in the house. And I'd have been like, look, I'm going to wait till the press gets here. And everybody else gets here first before I even come outside, because I'm like, I want everybody to see that my hands are up. I'm not doing anything, but we have footage of people with their hands up being shot and they still get convicted. So I don't even know.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's definitely a tough situation to be in. So me and my brother are very we're like polar opposites. He lives in Baton Rouge area. And he's shorter than me. He's a lot smaller than me. And if the police pull him over, he's like, "What the fuck you pulled me over for?" That's his thing. I'm more so like, arms out the window, like, "Hey, I'm complying. Please understand that I'm complying."
But Jay Ward, be careful about just automatically sticking your
hands out there.
Hey,
hands on the dash, like, "Hey, I'm complying."
Jay, don't listen to me. You got to understand, man. These times are different. You all of a sudden stick your hand out the window, that can look like you're reaching back and about to fire at them. And they're going to say that they had probable cause thinking that you had a weapon.
Yeah, keep them on the steering wheel.
I noticed that when I first got my truck years ago. I had rims on my truck, and I pulled over so much. I'm like, what the fuck?
No, Jay Ward, listen. Those lights come on, homie. You go ahead and pull on over. Only thing you need to do is stay still until they don't even start moving around reaching for your license yet. You let them walk up on you. And once they make it to you, then you let them say what they say. And then you respond back or how you need to appropriately respond back. And then if they ask you for your license and insurance or whatever else, then you say, "Ma'am or sir, my such and such is located. So I'm going to reach." And even if they say, "Oh, okay, you ain't got to tell me all that," you let them know. I do.
Tell them anyway.
I do.
It's so traumatic that we have to be trained that way.
I don't.
It's so traumatic. I definitely agree with what you're saying, but it's so traumatic that we can't even say, like, "Look, my insurance is on my phone. Let me pull my phone up." It's so traumatic that we don't even get the privilege.
Even with African American Black officers, I still do that. I don't care if you're behind that badge. I'm going to explain myself as a civilian when you come on the scene in steps and in order and in process.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things that is just like, you know, I don't know how I would react in that situation if I was in that situation. I would have just, you know, it wasn't armed robbery that he was even being accused of. It's like reckless driving. Like this isn't even like a felony. It's not even
something you should be shooting somebody about.
Right. It's not even that. So it's like, you know, no matter what you accusing me of reckless driving, like just do whatever you got to do. Wait this out so I can go, so you can book me and whatever else we got to do. And it's just like, bro, it's so just traumatic and sad that's what we have to go through on a day-to-day basis.
And honestly, they shouldn't be afraid of the gun. We live in Texas. People have guns like they have meat in the fridge. Like that's just
a black man with a gun is you forgot that it's dangerous. Just like I'm gonna be honest, a white person with power, with white privilege is very dangerous. Just like they look at us with their gun, that power and that white privilege is very dangerous.
And Kim, I did not know that. I'm glad you told me. I did not know that.
If you're a handgun license holder, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got a piece. I got a small gun. It's a revolver or whatever. I hope I never have to use it. And then when the police knocked on my door one night, I thought to grab it, but
I'm grabbing mine. You know, I keep mine by me.
Like and
when my dad rolls, he rolls with
keep mine by me.
You know, it's just
anytime I get pulled over, I let them know that I am a licensed carrier because
I ain't telling them unless they ask.
No, Swift. Because think about
it. Escalate the situation. If you can give me my ticket or have the conversation, I go on by my business.
Mine is always right there because you're gonna see it. I'm a licensed carrier. I'm sorry, I'm in a jack. These jokers roll up on your cars real fast sometimes.
I keep mine in the glove compartment.
Well, you probably stay, like I say, right now Jackson is a little hot.
Yeah.
So
it's so far away from you in the glove compartment, though. You know, it's
right.
But no, you're not supposed to have it out when you're driving either, though.
Oh, that's in Texas law. Yeah, Texas law.
Yeah, Because I asked that question because they got this one mechanism where you can have this bar under your drop steering wheel and you just click it and pull it out and it cocks it for like, can I have it in my car? You're like, no, you gotta have it put up.
That's in Texas. Yeah, that's why it's important to know your laws. Your laws.
But I guess the final point is, I don't think he was doing anything wrong when they shot at him first. If that's the video that if it's true or not, and he shot back, I think you should be able to protect your home from anybody that's shooting at you, police, anybody. My personal opinion.
But I'm saying though, did you feel like he had need to show that he was strapped?
He had no need to do that.
Well, I agree. He shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have done that far.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest. Somebody come on, anybody's flash a weapon, you're gonna with you carrying yours, you're gonna automatically grab yours and take that as a threat. These honestly, we gotta remember they want to go back home too. Yeah. That's why I say it's kind of that fence. They see that weapon. Whoever that first gentleman he was talking to, he really could have drawn his weapon and started shooting. Honestly, no, I'm being honest, Swift, because that's what
drawing and showing your weapon.
No, Swift, that is a threat. That's
he on his property.
Swift.
He got a call out, bro. What are you talking about? He's arriving on scene. The officer's arriving on scene, and the first
he's non-threatening. That officer didn't have his gun out or anything.
I gotta go back and watch the video. But did he show it in a threatening way?
What brandishing a weapon? Black, it's always a threatening way.
What are you talking about?
Okay.
The officer did not have his gun drawn. Now I'm gonna say that. And this man walks out and flashes his gun. I'm gonna be honest. If I'm an officer, I gotta come back home to little Marcus. You flash yours at me, I'm reaching for mine. Like whoa. You don't need to do that. That's dangerous at this time.
You ain't supposed. It ain't got to do no with the police shit in regular everyday life. You ain't supposed to be flashing unless you ready to use that motherfucker. So like,
you're right.
You know that. That's hood rules. Don't pull it up unless you don't use it.
I got you. I said y'all right. Bang. I said y'all right. I gotta make it to homecoming.
It's so trip.
I gotta make it to
homecoming. Well, you know, that's probably why he got ran out of Arkansas.
Here we go. We ain't gonna bring the group chat stuff in. We're gonna leave it out. We're gonna leave that out.
Hey, that was Twitter fear. That was in Twitter world.
Yeah, Twitter years, right?
And never mind. Go ahead, Swift.
Final Kim, I'm gonna block you. Final comments, Crow.
Honestly, I'm gonna just speak on mental health all the way around for everybody. Teachers, before you all start this school year, and those who have started the school year, be mindful of what you got going on personally, emotionally. Be accountable for when you step in that classroom, and know that you are molding, shaping, and influencing young minds. Allow those young minds also to reflect and feel, and be patient with them as they try to learn and grow. I would say to those who are entertainers, athletes, in any of those fields or career paths, or going in that avenue, you all are also allowed to step back from the limelight, step off the field, step off the court. And I've also myself been like, man, you all right going back out there. But at the end of the day, I truly know, yo, sit down, take a chill pill. I love my brother to death, and he's a diabetic, and he does air conditioning heat work. And man, I got a call, man, Miss such and such, it's hot. We in Mississippi. It's a heat wave right now. And my brother, honestly, he's literally like, yo, I need to go to Miss such and such or Mr. such and such house and get their AC back running. And he missing out on eating his sugar. And I'm like, yo, G, you got to pause for a moment. You need to go do this. You need to go do that. Just as athletes need to pause for a moment when they really hurting or not mentally available on that field or for their court. You know what I'm saying? Just when our moms and dads, or we see our sisters and brothers hurting in life, that's the same thing. So mental health is key for everybody, every field, because one thing we know, if we pass away, become chronically ill, that they're going to replace us with the next thing that's available. The next, just think about it. Jordan retired. Here comes Kobe. Here comes LeBron now. So it's going to be always the next somebody who's going to supposedly replace the GOAT of that generation of that era. When Marcus Crowley, if something happen, they gonna find somebody else. Jay Ward, teaching of the world, they're gonna find another teacher. But that's how it goes. So we also got to make sure we take time for ourselves, and do things that's appropriately right for us.
Absolutely. Jay?
I just want to say
it's the South in me with these athletes.
Going back to that first topic, we got to vote on millages, and that's one of the main things that helps teachers get raises. Vote on that, and vote for the school board members, and then vote for the superintendent. Like, those are the things. Like, a lot of times it's not that we don't vote, but we just show up to vote for governor, president, and the big shit. But we got to vote for the small stuff too, and school board representatives and things like that, because that's who controls what happens in your school. So we gotta be positive about that. Also recently, I took a social media break, and it's been great, to just unplug. And I think that everybody should take time to unplug and just recalibrate. I think that's very beneficial to athletes, and everyone, not just athletes, but everyone, just to kind of take time for yourself to cleanse yourself and just really take time
from all the likes and all liking, from all the likes and all the likings.
Right. You see that stuff on a day-to-day basis, and it's hard to focus on self when you see someone like like one of my favorite people to look at is Jay. He's Alpha Beta. He was on American Ninja Warrior, and I'd be looking at him like, damn, man, that dude in great shape. He got this, and this, and this, and this, and it just puts pressure on yourself to feel like, man, I should be doing this, and this, and this. And so it's just like, sometimes you have to decompress from that. And that's something that we didn't have to face when we were 17, 18 years old. But now that we're at our current age, we do have to face it. I know Crowley is one of the people who is not really that active on social media. And you mentioned why you are that way, and I respect that and I applaud that. So you got to take that self-care. I see Tabitha said that you got to take that self-care and just be able to make sure you're in the right mental space to go out and do whatever it is that you have to do in the world. And when you go home, you can manage that. So I would definitely say manage all of that and take care of your mental health by any means necessary. And don't let fear. I think that was a big thing for me. That's a big revelation that I've come to, is just fear of what other people are going to say. Oh, you taking the social media? What is such and such going to say? Like, you got to get to the point where you don't give a fuck what that person is going to say, because that person will move on from you so quickly if you weren't in their lives. It's just like, oh, what is such and such going to say if I'm not on the podcast? That person don't give a fuck if you're on the podcast or not. Like at the end of the day, so they'll find another podcast to listen to. So you got to do what's best for you and your mental health and your situation and your household. So I definitely would encourage everybody to do that and take those breaks.
Absolutely. I definitely don't post on Facebook as much now, at all, if at all. E.
Man, like always, I see it.
But Swift, they said you don't post on Facebook because your girl was taken by a basketball player who now she left.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about that?
We didn't talk about that, or femininity, selective femininity. I want T to be on for those conversations, right? Because I just know T Samuel's going to come with it.
Swift, are you going to take your old lady back now that she's been knocked up by an NBA player? That's what I want to know.
Like I said, it depends how much the child support payment is. If she can bring it on $300,000 a month, what am I?
It's not going to be that much. He's not.
Am I? But final comments. Thank y'all for coming on.
Yeah.
We are starting to go back weekly now, so we appreciate everyone coming back.
No more breaks and hiatus.
Well, we put it this way: we were making summer moves. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was being grown about their business. We were taking this summer to do some things in between these breaks while you all were having summer breaks. So everybody was making big moves as mover and shaker. So I'm proud of these gentlemen.
Kim want me to block her so bad.
Shout out to Kimberly, because she be on Swift.
She want me to block her so bad.
Constantly.
And I had something else to say too. I forgot what you get. What your ass get? Jay, we gotta come back to Facebook with the tears though. Y'all need to talk. Now I need to take your break too. You just talk. Oh, absolutely. We might take another one too, because they get on my nerves. All right, so y'all have a good one. We will see y'all next week, and we'll have more homecoming stuff for y'all too. We get our homecoming affairs in order, so y'all come to the tailgate and get a plate, get some blue juice, and never mind. I'm not gonna say it out loud. But we'll talk to y'all next week.
We might go live just for a quick 30 minutes.
But if we do go live during homecoming, it won't be a show. It'll just be a walk around and just talk.
Yeah.
It won't be nothing big like that.
You know what? Everybody should go live from where they from that Friday night for about a quick 30 minutes.
Okay. That sounds like a good plan. Or that Saturday morning, afternoon at the tailgate.
Well,
hey, if you've never been to the Alpha Beta tailgate, you missing the treat. You need to come to the Alpha Beta tailgate.
We're gonna talk about it, but see y'all next week.
Y'all be safe out there in this world. Everybody mask up.